Welcome to this guided meditation for grief. We're going to begin by making sure we're sitting comfortably, either on a cushion or mat with our back supported by cushions, or sitting on a chair with our back straight. Have a notebook or paper and pen handy, as you may need to write down words received later. Our hands are going to be placed face down on our thighs, or face up in a comfortable position. Raise your shoulders up and then let them drop down so that they're completely relaxed. Close your eyes and take a big, deep breath into your lungs. Let the movement come from the deepest part of your body, your diaphragm, and slowly inflate your lungs and feel your stomach rising as the air fills your lungs, and keep inhaling until you can't take another breath into your lungs. Then just hold for a few seconds. Then begin the slow release of the stale air out of your mouth or your nose until every last drop of stale air has been exhaled from your lungs. And once again, hold for a few seconds. Do this again for as long as feels comfortable to you, just listening to the soothing music as you focus on the mechanical process of breathing. After a while, you'll feel the thoughts flooding back in, and the bruised, raw emotional pain that is grief begins to flood back and wash over your body in waves. We're not going to block this raw, painful emotion. We're going to let it flood into our body and fill us up. We're going to let it flood into our body and fill us up. We're going to wallow in this raw, painful feeling for a few deep breaths. If tears come, let them flow. Let them stream down your cheeks and feel the cathartic cleansing power of those tears. The sense of loss and longing for that person who has left this world is overwhelming. We find it inconceivable that we could ever change from this raw, painful emotion. We need that person to be here next to us in the physical flesh, but we know this is impossible. We feel that emptiness and hollowness inside us that represents loss, bereavement, and the parting from a loved one. Someone who has been in our lives and such a vital part of it. The conversations, the laughter, the banter, the chats. It feels like a chasm has opened up inside us, which has left this giant gaping hole which cannot be closed. Wipe your eyes if you've been crying and get comfortable. Try to relax and remove the tension. go back to our breath and take a deep breath from the diaphragm, gradually filling our lungs to the very top with fresh, clean air. We're going to hold that breath for a few seconds and then slowly, ever so slowly, let the air escape through our mouths or noses until there is not a drop of air left in our lungs. And we then hold the breath before slowly repeating this process. We notice that the breathing exercise, when we focus on it, has a cleansing and relaxing effect that for a brief while is soothing and calming until the waves of emotion and pain flood back into our mind. Again, we're not going to fight those emotions or try to push them out of our minds. This time, we're going to try to become a third-party observer and observe them as if they were a scientist conducting a scientific experiment. We're going to watch the pain and the emotion as it comes flooding into our bodies and minds. We're going to observe it where it lodges itself. Does it center itself at our chests and radiate outwards? Is it located to one area? Does the grief rack our whole bodies from head to toe and envelop us like a stifling blanket of loss? Does it come in waves, wave upon wave upon wave? Is it like a sharp knife to the side? Is it dull, or does it leave us feeling empty, as if something has been cut out of us? Observe the feelings and emotions, and like a scientist, mentally note the location of the emotion. Next, we're going to rate this emotion on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being a dull sense of loss that is gradually fading to a distant, sad memory, to 10 being the full-blown, despair-inducing woe, with there being a feeling of no hope, of relief, and just utter despair and inconsolable sadness. Having rated your grief from 1 to 10, just experiment with moving that emotion 1 notch up to the happier end of the scale, so that utter despair and sense of tragedy of 10 on a scale becomes the deep sadness and aching sense of loss of 9 on the scale. The aching sense of loss of 9 on the scale is moved up to 8, which is sadness and longing, which lingers and fades. It would be impossible to move your emotions more than 1 point at a time, and the process of grieving is a necessary process in this life. It feels respectful to the person who has passed to have a period of grieving, and grief can be very surprising in that at first it may not kick in, but when we are least expecting it, it can lay us down on our knees. There's often guilt which floods in as an overwhelming emotion as we think what we should have done or said to that person before they were taken from us. Death comes like a thief in the night, leaving us in a state of shock and often full of guilt. A lot of comfort would be derived if we knew that our loved one was watching over us and sending us love and reassurance that all is well. Does this feel true to you? Does it feel like our loved one has passed into the next world, is looking down on us, helping us, loving us and supporting us? Just for a minute, still your mind and open your mind to any connection or communication that may come through. Keep your body still and your breathing deep, and ask that you be held at all times in full love and protection. And then consciously push your energy upwards to the universe, up to the stars, soaring higher and higher, up, up, up. And then, when you have pushed your energy as far as it will go, just be still and breathe deep breaths. Do you feel any thoughts floating into your mind? Do you feel any communications drifting in? Quietly make a mental note of any communications. Don't analyze, just record as if you were a tape recorder. Ask if there is any more communication. It tends to flood into your mind in chunks and then goes quiet. And then another download and then stop. You might need to write the words down after the meditation, but for now, just memorize the words, and when the communication has dried up, go back to the breathing and bring yourself back into your body with deep breaths. Imagine roots springing out of the soles of your feet and going down into the soil, down into the Earth's core, past rocks, crystals, deep into the molten core of the planet, grounding you to the earth. Inhale deeply as you feel that grounding connection. Exhale and release the pain. Release the raw emotion, the pain, the aching loss. Inhale and bring in white, luminescent energy through the crown of your head, through what is known as your crown chakra. And on the out-breath, think of the word release. Say the word as you slowly let your breath out. Inhale and think of white, luminescent energy filling every cell in your body and leaving your body shining and sparkling as it fills with source energy. Energy which comes from source, that from which all life emanates, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. Out and we release. Release sadness. Release the pain. Release grief. In comes that healing energy, healing our tired and emotional bodies, healing the gaping wounds of our heart, healing the raw emotion and feeling of loss. Now we take this feeling of calm, this feeling of comfort, and carry this into our day so that if we feel the pain is unbearable, we can begin our deep breathing and we will feel that relaxation and calm until next time we meditate. Let us be peace. Let us be calm, knowing that we are only a few thoughts away from our loved ones who look over us and protect us and guide us from the next world. They pour their love down upon us as they know how hard it can be on this planet. They are in a place where the pain and suffering of human existence is gone, where there is just love and connection with the universal loving energy that we all have access to. We know one day we'll be reunited with our loved ones and will be exalted to the highest emotions. But until then, we are watched over, we are protected, we are loved. And we send that love back from the very depths of our hearts. We send that love back to join with the universal love that is open to all of us. We are loved. We are protected. We are one.